Welcome to today's Shine a Light on Innovative Practices webinar, Design Thinking in the Library, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, presented by Kim Butler and Ray Chikora from Boulder Valley Public Schools. Well, a live chat is available for all participants. I'll manage the chat and any tech issues that arise as Kim and Ray present. Today's event will be recorded and all registrants will receive an email with a link to the recording, as well as any resources shared during the presentation. This email will include an evaluation used by the State Library to share the impact of our programming with our federal funders. We deeply appreciate it if you could complete that evaluation for us. Before we begin, I just want to say thank you again to Ray and Kim for sharing this session with a virtual audience. So I had the pleasure of seeing Kim and her students in action last year, right about this time, I think. And I was blown away. I mean, talk about literacy learning on multiple levels, creativity, collaboration. I mean, it was incredible to see all the thought that had gone into this planning and then to see it in action and just true joy. I mean, the kids were learning so much and having so much fun. So I was thrilled when she agreed to present at Hessel EdCon last June and also being willing to share it with a virtual audience with all of you. So I'm going to turn it over to Ray and Kim to introduce yourselves, but just thank you again for sharing this awesome presentation with all of us.
Great. Hi, I'm Ray Sikora. I'm the District Library Coordinator here at Boulder Valley School District. And Kim and I have been working together for a long time. And I saw what she was doing with this cardboard arcade and said, you need to show people what you do because this is amazing. So Kim, take it away.
Thank you. Yeah, so this has definitely been a labor of love. It's a really awesome unit. The kids love it. I just started. Oh, I didn't just start. We've been working on it this year. I'm kind of excited to show because presenting it last year from last year's really motivated me to up my game. And so I feel like I've really changed and adapted my instruction even more, and to help really the kids are completely blowing me away this year more than they ever have before. So I'm really excited to show what they can do. It's been so amazing.
I honestly don't know how you could have upped the game, but I am here for it.
Yeah, I was really surprised, but like I keep commenting to the other adults in the room. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is working. Like it's going. So and we're at the hard part right now. So I will get into some of that. So is it all right if I go ahead and just start sharing?
Absolutely.
Oh, I guess I should have explained though. I am part-time in an elementary school currently, and I'm also part-time in a high school. And I'm trying to sort of blend those two. And so one of the things that I'm working on that I think it should be like the wheels are in motion, but my plan is to have high schoolers coming from the high school to the elementary school to help support with just some of the things that I don't feel comfortable letting elementary schoolers do, like using X-Acto knives and hot glue. And I'm hoping that will help with some of the efficiency of how we tackle this unit. You definitely need a lot of support with this unit. So there are lots of ways to go about it. I am very fortunate in that I have a full-time, a volunteer who is there as much as I am. And then I also have a para who is there just a little less. So between those two, it's a huge amount of support. And then I get help anywhere and everywhere I can. And I do cover some different ideas if you have a different situation. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my presentation. If you haven't seen the movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, that's sort of what this presentation is modeled after. It's just a bit of a tongue-in-cheek little thing. So you don't have to have seen the movie, but I hope there are familiar icons for you if you have. So this is just a little overview of Ray and I, and this whole presentation I will make available, and it does link to my even updated presentations that I show to the students. So I'm hoping that you guys can get enjoyment out of it. So yeah, better than a tax audit. If you've seen the movie, then it's really about a tax audit. So this one is really about using that cardboard arcade unit to foster school-wide collaboration, interdisciplinary learning, and huge amounts of fun. We really do focus in on critical thinking and the design engineering process. I really try to hit that hard. And this year I've really, that's one of the areas that I've really been focusing on with the students, so that they really have that objective in mind. Like that we're learning engineering skills here. So that's been one of the big changes or shifts, I guess. So we've been working on this whole school-wide unit. It is inspired by Kane's Arcade, and that link right there is to the video. I'm not going to show it to you. It's like 10 minutes long. It's a lovely, heartwarming video about a kid named Kane who got sort of discovered, and somebody made a video out of him, out of his work. He made a cardboard arcade during his summer off at his dad's job. Kane is an adult now, and but this video still stands the test of time. It's a really great jumping off point, and I do show the video to the students so that they it really does inspire them and get them kind of excited. All right, so the 4th and 5th graders build the arcade games. This we do in teams, and they use mostly recycled materials in the design process to develop these games. I have several steps I make them go through, and we just hit a whole bunch of them, and I'll show you that presentation. In fact, let me tip it off. So there's actually 2 videos that go with Kane. I will talk about this slide in a minute. I had to add this in this year, a team building piece, because based on the feedback I got last year, teams were really a problem. So I'll talk about that too. This is the design process, and this is what I really talked to them about: empathizing, defining, ideate, prototyping, and then testing and fixing and testing. This is challenging to accomplish. I see the kids once a week. Right now I'm seeing them for 50 minutes, but they also have to get checkout done. And so it ends up being a really quick turnaround. They also need to think about sharing information. And then they also, this part they haven't been doing a lot with in the past, but this year they've started to really think out more about their tickets and stickers, because this is a whole.
Kim, your audio is fading out just a little bit there.
Oh goodness, I'm so sorry. Let's see if I can. All right, tell me if that's any better.
That's much better. Yeah. If you wouldn't mind repeating just that last little bit.
Sure, no problem. I was saying that this setting limits with stickers and tickets, they weren't thinking about that much in the past, but this year they've started to, and that's really interesting to me because that's a whole other level of math and like math comprehension that they haven't shown before. So that's been really fun to kind of see them start to clue in, like, oh wait, however many points I assign matters to how many tickets they get. And then there's a lot of weird little underlying math bits in this unit. So then I have parameters. Any engineer will tell you limitations are how you actually form your plans. And so my parameters, these are the like basic rules that we have. One of the things that we do is the big one is this size limitation, because I have a very tiny library, and I do not have space for them to store anything massive. So games have to be fairly compact. 2 feet is the largest it can be in any direction. This is also really helpful because it gives them that 3-dimensionality. So I demonstrate with them with like a ruler, like here's, a yardstick really. Here's what 12 inches looks like. Here's what 14 looks like. Here's what 24 looks like. And then we also talk about width, depth, height, and all of those parts to the actual game. One of the additions I made for this year is that they can only use a box that's no bigger than 2 feet on any side as their base. If they use a box, not everybody needs to use a box as their base, but I had too many issues with kids trying to build their own boxes and they always fall apart. So I just want them to start with something small because cutting them down has been really challenging. Things you learn. They do have to create directions, and that is really simple. I have these like sentence starters for them. I talk them through these verbs, like to play this game, you need to, and then I, say they need to explain that part, and then the next steps, what you win points for. And then this goes into the how many points equals how many stickers. And then they also talk about how to reset the game, because the 4th and 5th graders are not the ones who are running the games. They are just making it and setting it off for other kids to run. Okay, so then we talk through different features, important things about games. We look at our empathy step. We spend a lot of time talking about how it's important to understand who you're designing something for in order for you to design it well. And this year it's been great. I've used, we have a bridge that's right close to our school. So I've been able to talk about that bridge and how was it designed with cars in mind or people in mind, or, and it really was a concrete example that helped them understand why they're designing it for kindergarten and 1st grade, because those are the kids that are going to be playing the games. So those little kids, I also get together with them because I see everybody once a week, and I ask them their favorites of various things. This one is always one of my favorite bits because I always love seeing their answers. This year, they've been really excited about crochet. Tying shoes was a hit. I was very excited about that one because I was like, oh, look, think of all the cool games we could make involving tying shoes. And the kid who suggested that one was really excited because he had just learned to tie shoes and he really wanted to practice it more. So I was like, sure, let's do it. So I try to get a bunch of different things, and these are just sort of inspiration pieces for the older kids to think about. Okay. In the next step is research. So we have Brain Pop, which is a blessing. And so all of these link to Brain Pop videos, and that explains how these different things work. And so I encourage the kids on their own time, like in their planning time, to watch some of these videos if they want to understand better how a pulley works or how a gear works. And then I have examples of actual cardboard games. None of these on this page are from my own students. These were just images I found. Same with these, I'm just trying to inspire them. But this page, I did add some students that that actually made their own games, and these are some of the examples that I had in the past couple years. Like this one was super cool. The kids made it so that you could pull this string at the top to reset it. The goal is to knock over the little boxes off this tray. This one and both of these I have video on. They're pretty amazing. I'd love to show this video. It's fairly short.
So you just like put the magnet on a duck?
You're fishing.
This is actually cool.
I loved that. Like, this is actually cool. And so that was one of the like games that the students came up with last year. And so they just took pill bottles, they drew little ducks, they put them on there. They really wanted it to be like a duck fishing game. This one was a like marble maze, and this one I also thought was pretty ingenious. Okay, so this game is a marble maze, and it's designed with popsicle sticks, and then the bottom is this rounded styrofoam so that it sits unevenly. And the goal is to push this to move the ping pong ball around. So you put the ping pong ball in, and then you move it in different ways to make it roll. And then this one, and you can kind of see a little bit about like the storage space. That one it was in storage at the time. It's a tiny little space that they have to fit all their materials in while they're working on it. And this one is a great example too, because it was not very successful at this stage, but as they kept working, they came up with some solutions to the problem of like the cloth being all bunched up and the popsicle sticks not being wide enough. So like they were testing things and figuring out what the problems were and then adjusting. So that's sort of the phase that group was on. Let's see. I also discovered that kids, they elementary students haven't had a lot of research exposure. So these are some terms I suggested for them for finding things. I suggested for them to go on YouTube because it's, like this is what people do when they're going to find things, like a tutorial on how to do something, they'll go on YouTube. So I asked them to do that and then start searching. I do have the ability to watch their computers from mine. So I was able to watch them so I could kind of monitor if there's anyone not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I also gave a few examples of tutorials that they could watch and get some ideas. Like both this car one and the Flappy Bird one use pulleys and gears. So it was really nice to be able to talk about those terms with the students and connect it back to something that they can see in action. So now I've had a lot of kids that are really digging into some of those videos that they may not have been looking at before. Okay, so that was 4th and 5th grade. 2nd and 3rd grade are crafting prizes, which is a whole different thing. It's very similar. They're crafting the prizes instead of making the games. Sometimes they can be making like mini versions of games, but for the most part, theirs is about having the creativity to just come up with different ideas of fun prizes that the little kids might like. So they are also the kids that are running the games. So the 4th and 5th graders make them, the 2nd and 3rd graders run the games for the kindergartners and 1st graders. Okay, and they have a similar, 2nd, 3rd have a similar breakdown of steps and things. I actually, for them, I have a prize planner, and this I revamped pretty significantly. They used to have 10 items they had to make, and I had like a checklist, and they would write it out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I thought about it, and most of them said that they felt like the planning was too hard. So instead, I made a checklist. I limited it to 4 items, and I also used the feedback from the kindergartners and first graders to identify which things were the most popular of the things that we offered.
Kim, would you mind clicking on the share button in the upper right? And that'll make it a little bit bigger for us to be able to see your slide there.
Let me see if I can find that button.
The blue share button in the upper right corner
In the, oh,
of
share.
your deck. Yeah, there we go.
Or
I'm sorry, slideshow. I'm sorry, slideshow.
Slideshow, yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, got it.
There
yeah.
we go. Thank you.
Yeah. And I actually link straight to this as well. So this is something they can see. So these are different things that I wanted to make it a checklist so that they could just like check the things off as they did them. So it was less writing and slightly less intimidating. There is a backside. Let me show that one. So there's a backside where they have to write out their materials and then draw their items. And then, of course, more paper if they need it. Let me go back. So that I updated pretty significantly to really support their the planning that second and third graders can do. Second graders especially struggled with this phase in the past, so I really wanted to make sure it was something that where they felt super supported and knew they just had to check something off as they did it. And I really wanted them to be questioning things and looking at different ideas. I also, let's see, these are also, again, examples, picture examples for them. I do link to a couple things. So I didn't share this part with the second graders, but I asked some of the third graders, this is a cool video of somebody like making a robot arm out of cardboard, which seemed cool and looked like something they could do. Bottle art, worry stones, squishies, and this year we're gonna give it a try. Whoops. And let the kids fill their own squishies, because I guess I'm feeling brave. And so one of the things they have to do is decide which material they like best, and then how to decorate them. Cotton ball launchers, there's 3 different kinds. And then I provide this page for them all, which is basically just research for them. It's tutorials, more different tutorials. And I tell them they're not limited to these, but these are a good starting point. I have like some videos on how to make various things. And this one, I made a whole other slideshow that just shows a bunch of different kinds of bottle art and includes their materials, just so that they have a good sense of what kinds of things they could be doing. And then these are some video tutorials on how to make 3 different kinds of launchers. So the research part is where my students are at currently. And I was really hoping to support them more with their research with this page. So that's second and third. Oops. Okay. Is this big enough currently? Can people see?
Yes.
Great. So we hit so many standards with this unit. There's so many like little hidden things. The first graders and kindergartners, I do a financial literacy piece with them around this, so they earn money, and that's a behavior incentive throughout the whole school. And then they take, like, when it's time to play, like right before it's time to play the games, they bring their money to me. We work on counting it. First graders actually build a budget where they talk about, they like see examples of the prizes, they think about what they might actually want as a prize, and then what it'll take to get the prize. So there's some pieces that hit those as well. So this is highly collaborative. And so this really hits a lot of the essential skills and library skills that Hessel provides, or that Hessel asks for. And I do really try to get the kids to focus on being able to design, come up with their own ideas. I just want to give them like some concepts to help inspire them, but I really want them to come up with their own things. And the same with this stuff. There's lots of literacy pieces, and the teamwork is so interesting and important. Most of the feedback that we'll see in a minute really was around the teamwork. So this is not technically a PBL learning, I mean, a PBL unit, because it's not an authentic learning experience, like, but it really does give students a chance for some super authentic experiences. It's just a manufactured reason that they need to do it. Okay, so these are those same two videos. Definitely, it was amazing to see some of the kids that perked up for this. I had no idea. I had one student, his parent came in multiple times to help, and he thanked me because he was like, he hates school and now he's really motivated to be doing things. So that kind of thing is really why we're doing it, to give them those opportunities. I actually had many parents who were just so thankful and really excited to be able to have some hands-on exposure to things that they just didn't have before. So I do partner with the art teacher where I can, and she's done some really great support around decorating the arcade games, and then also around how to connect cardboard, which has been really beneficial. She'll give me, she has these great posters. And so she'll do that with the kids. So she's been coming in and pardon me, teaching those things with the students. In addition, it really is so much collaboration. This is just sort of a flow chart where all of them kind of share, or we get to see like how everybody interacts with this unit. It's really great to see the 4th and 5th graders be thinking about what the kindergartners and 1st graders want and like. And it's really great for them to also be considering when they're writing things out, that they're writing it for 2nd and 3rd graders. And this will be my 3rd year doing it. And so I have some kids that have, I think there might be some kids that have finally hit the end of like they were 1st graders and they got to do it, and then they were 2nd graders and now they're 4th graders, I believe. So that's really fun too, because they've seen all 3 sides of it. Teachers really help. They love it, and they help with the incentives. We work together on scheduling times that the kids can do the actual arcade playing, because that's a partnership between 2nd and 3rd and kinder and 1st. And then of course I get as many volunteers as I can. So then this is my reflection. This was a piece that I really hadn't done a lot with in the past, and it wound up being really eye-opening and great. So like I said, I had like 10 items that the kids were supposed to make as prizes. I had the little kids choose, yeah, I had the little kids like put a sticker under the type of prize they liked the most. And so then I took that information and used that to sort of narrow down what I was expecting my prize makers to make. And that was really helpful for me to be able to be like, oh, okay, nobody really liked the bookmarks. Let's just not do them. And same thing, this was first grade. And then I also I invited the second and third graders to offer some different feedback and reflections about how they felt like the arcade went. This does link to the full form that I'm not going to show you right this minute. But the thing that came up the most for these guys was definitely the planning. They really struggled with that. So I really worked hard on adapting that to make it much easier. And I'm seeing that for sure. The kids have really been thinking carefully about making their plans and understanding that the plan is an important part. It's not just the doing things. You have to actually make a plan so you can do it well. And second and third grade, these are more of the, this is the feedback, things they loved. So yeah, you can see here, they did not like the plan. And then cooperating, they had to run the games. We also talked about how they tackled that because they were partnered with a younger student and had to sort of walk with that younger student around to the various games to try them.
Kim, I have a question.
Yes.
At the risk of changing your thought. So you've got now third graders that were second graders last year that had difficulty with the planning. Is
Yes.
this reiteration helping them as well?
Definitely. And I'm seeing that also with the fourth and fifth graders. The fact that they're doing it again really has helped. And the third graders, I have had to do far less instruction at the beginning and just been like, okay, here we go. And, once I explained the checklist, because some of them hadn't had exposure to a checklist, they were feeling great and they just went to town with it. I think also the reduction of games has really helped. Of prizes really helped make them feel a lot more confident, and they're taking on challenges that I don't think they were willing to take on last time. So that's been interesting. Okay, so yeah, this is second, third grade. So this is just about working together during the actual arcade part. And then these were, things that where they felt like they learned. So that part was also interesting. A lot of them, feel like they already know how to make things. And so I was really hoping with better emphasis on planning and like looking at some tutorials and really understanding how it's helpful to map out what you're going to do before you do it. That will help with the actual making of the thing. So I'm hopeful that I'll get some other kinds of responses this time around. Same kind of feedback I asked for fourth and fifth. And these same kind of thing, I asked them what were their, I kind of broke the unit down into these different steps. I didn't really talk much about the logo, but the students also had to, the arcade building students also made a logo. So there's an arts component to it. That logo gets turned into the stickers that the little kids collect on a 10 frame so that they can keep count of the stickers. And then they turn those stickers into prizes because those are like the tickets.
So they earn the dollar.
Yes.
They earn the dollars, then they pay the dollars to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they win the game, they get stickers. And without a certain number of stickers, they go buy the prize.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. It's pretty involved, but it really is good. Like, it's a really great financial overview for them.
Well, and I just appreciate that you are not underestimating these students. I mean, when I watched all of this happen, it really is everything, everywhere, all at once. And they know exactly what is going on.
Yeah. It feels very chaotic, but it really does. Like, the kids really are involved and they super know what they're doing.
And empowered.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so this is what the fourth and fifth graders get, and they get a chance to play each other's games. I definitely like they all get a chance to play the actual arcade once it's ready to go. Um, and then this one was the bit that I really got these answers back for teamwork for fourth and fifth grade, and it was so clear to me that teamwork was hard. And it was really interesting because last year I in some classes I had created their teams, and other classes they had created their teams, and it didn't matter. They all had trouble. All of the feedback was like, didn't like my team, had trouble with my team. So I took some extra time this year to really do teamwork and team building activities at the start of the unit. And in fact, most of them had seen the arcade videos. So in some cases, I was just like, you can watch the videos on your own time. You know what those are about. Let's go ahead and do some team building. So we did some really fun, quick team building things where they had to just work on communication, and they had to work on figuring out like, what do you do when one person isn't allowed to talk, or a variety of different things. So that was really encouraging for me, and that was a big shift I made as well. And again, same thing, the same feedback. um, Most of them felt like they really did learn quite a lot, which was really nice to see. And then these comments were just priceless. um, Yet some of them are really
Next time, I hope my kinder does not run away.
yes. I was not expecting this much of, because I figured, they're not going to type out answers, but whew, they had a lot to say. And these are just a smattering of them. So, um, yeah, so I'd like to make games next year if possible. So all of them
And the last one too, I would have made a more kiddie-ish and made an easier game, but I guess we had a pretty good run.
yeah. So then like again, please assign teams. No, don't assign teams. And like it was like, yeah, okay. We clearly need to work on that. Yeah, most of the feedback was about teamwork. So I really did take that to heart. Okay, so next steps, what I have been starting on for this year is I'm developing some like I haven't ever given any feedback forms to my teachers or parents, and that's one of the next things I want to make sure I do for this time. And I've already started with the incorporating high school help. I did not do as well with shortening the time spent at the start of the lessons, because I added in the feedback. I mean the team building parts, and I added in some like a different slant to the planning for the prizes. So I'm really hoping that doesn't bite me in the long run. I definitely modified crafting things, and I have certainly incorporated more research with the older grades, and then teamwork activities. This is just a quick look at like different materials that we like scribbled together, different things we might have wanted for materials for a unit like this. This is just various things that I realized that you would want if you were going to make do a version of this unit. These are different kinds of materials that you would end up using. I think that is the end of that presentation. So I went fast. I'm sorry, there's so much here. I did not show you, let me see if there was one other thing. I think that might be all. I share these slide presentations with the kids. So the second and third graders, I send them because we have co-guardian. So I actually send them a little abbreviated version of this slide presentation so they can continue to look at all these ideas. And then fourth and fifth graders, I send them these that includes their helpful search terms and links to different things for them to look at. And all of them are always eager to see what the question or what the answers are from the littler kids. So they always want to know what the younger kids are excited about.
And it's so much fun when all of this comes together. And the day I discovered this, I had walked into the school and their cafeteria is kind of right in front of the front doors. And it is crowded with kindergartners and first graders, second and third graders. And they're playing these cardboard games and there's noise and there's excitement and there's a couple tears, but oh my gosh, they you're right. They know what they're doing. It looks like chaos, but they know what they're doing and finding games and practicing the instructions and resetting the games. And it is brilliant. So you take 8 weeks to get this together?
Oof. Yeah. I mean, I try to start the request that I had gotten from the teachers, fifth grade teachers specifically, but pretty much everyone was, can we be done before spring break? Because after that, it's just all testing and we just don't have time. And so that has been my goalpost, where I try to get the kids started like right as soon as we get back from winter break. But it doesn't always has yet to work out quite that nicely, but close. And then we just start building. So they started planning last week with me. But the encouraging thing is that the planning is, because of all the prep, the planning is going so much faster than I thought it would. So that part is really encouraging and exciting. Like they are super focused on making a really thorough and detailed plan. Like some of the kids were like, "We're done," and I said, "Okay, well, what happens if somebody's absent? Are you going to know exactly what to do? Maybe we need to write down some steps." So, um, so that's been really fun to sort of see that. And I do meet with, for the like arcade part, I meet with each team and they explain to me their concepts and then I approve it if it feels like they know what they're doing. And then with the prize kids, I meet with every kid and look at their prizes and make sure we have a list of their materials so that when I send them to go get materials, that whatever adult is helping them with that part knows what to do. Because you don't really want to turn a bunch of kids loose on and like let them grab whatever materials they want without somebody overseeing that. So and I do explain all of the whys for that too. Like I explain why we have those parameters, why we can't make them really big, and I explain why they need to write out the materials because we just don't have that much materials, and if they need something special, I need to know. So
Kim, I'm envisioning like a literacy night for parents where the fourth and fifth graders could take around the parents around the arcade, just like the second and third graders take around the kindergartners and first graders, so that the parents can play the arcade games.
oh my gosh, I totally love that idea. I hadn't even considered it. I do want more ways to incorporate the parents, so that's a really great idea. I might run with that.
They would be so proud to show off the games that they
Oh gosh,
created.
and they are. I mean, they get very excited about it, and that does end up being a bit funny because at the end, what I do is the teams, I let them decide who's going to take it home. I just say it just needs to be out of here, and I I say, you decide. Here are some what tools you could use to decide if you're all in this disagreeing, and and go to town. And then I make them take them away. So.
Well, we have a few minutes left. I'm sure there might be some questions from our audience. So if there's anyone who wants to drop into the chat, any questions you have about how Kim pulls this all off, or if you'd like to unmute, you're welcome to do so. This is a great time to do that.
I know for me, when Kim was explaining what this was the first time, I'm like, what? That's a lot. There's so much. And it made sense once I actually saw the arcade together. There's a lot there. Read it through several times.
Yeah. It is very involved and very intertwined. So, but it's super fun. And I'm happy to share this presentation with anyone who wants to look at it and recreate it and do whatever they want. So please, and feel free to reach out and ask me questions. I'll promise I'll do my best to reply. Yay. I'm glad it was good information for people.
Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions, but I'm sure that once folks have a chance to really dig in, I mean, I just remember, from my perspective, you walk into the library, there's a line of kindergartners with their fat envelopes of money, and they're ready to spend and play. And then they have their second and third grade buddies taking them around, helping them understand each game. Just the empathy and collaboration in every interaction was so powerful. And there's obviously the fun of playing the game and then earning the sticker. And then the pride of the second and third graders that they made these prizes that the kindergartners and first graders get to win. And there's just so much agency and choice and buy-in in every aspect of the project. You could just feel it in the room that this is something that students will not only remember for a long time, but it will be a building block in how they approach teamwork and how they approach design work in the future. So
yeah,
Ray and Kim, thank you for taking the time to share this with us.
Yay. Yeah. And that one video of the little duck game, I really felt like it captured a lot of that, because the older kid was like, whoa, this is really cool. So it was really fun just to sort of see both the little kid explaining it, which was fun, and then the kid that was sort of helping was like, oh yeah. So.
Well, again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you to our presenters, Kim Butler and Ray Sikora, and from the Colorado State Library. We appreciate you participating. Again, my name is Susie Chinini. I'm the school library consultant for the Colorado State Library. I'll be sending out a link to the slide deck, contact information for Ray and Kim, as well as the webinar recording. But feel free to contact me with any questions, and please fill out our evaluation when you have a chance. And thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thanks, Susie.
Thank you. I should tell you also, Susie, I forgot to mention this, that I have a very good friend who